parliamentary standards, this may not be an enormous, huge petition. It may not have attracted almost 3 million signatures like the recent one calling for another general election, but it's still a significant one on a subject that has gone from being all we ever talked about to one we barely even mention here now. Those of us with dark red areas on the petition map will know, however, that this issue has far from disappeared from our constituents' hearts and minds, and as far as many of us are concerned, Brexit is not and has never been a done deal, never to be spoken of again. And almost 400 of my constituents have signed and written to me. From campaigning against it during the referendum to working day and night, including on the first sitting Saturday we'd had for 40 years, many of us tried and came so close to securing a less awful deal and a people's vote. Almost every Labour member met to discuss and scrutinise every stage and every amendment, led in group meetings several times a day by the current Secretaries of State for DCIT and Education, the now Chancellor for the Duchy of Lancaster, and Minister of State for Employment, and indeed the now Minister of State for Europe and North America. I would love to believe that those government ministers are now applying our years of campaigning together against the damage we foresaw Brexit causing to our national security, economy and place in the world, are taking that to their new roles and raising this in cabinet and departmental meetings at every available opportunity. According to the recent YouGov survey that we've already heard mentioned, 55% of Britons now say it was wrong for the UK to leave the EU, and just 11% see Brexit as more of a success than a failure. That mirrors the referendum result in my own constituency back in 2016, where the University of Kent, our largest employer, enjoyed an extremely close working partnership with our neighbours across the English Channel. Not just on a research project basis, but we had campuses on the continent that have sadly now been closed completely. Gone too is the once proud sign which read, University of Kent, the European University. Gone are many of our friends, neighbours, academics, language teachers who made Canterbury their home for decades. The diverse demographic mix has changed. The group bookings at local restaurants, the cathedral, guest houses, tourist attractions have fallen dramatically, and our city centre just feels like a different place. Thankfully, we're a resourceful city, used to welcoming pilgrims of all kinds, and we are adjusting. But Brexit punched us heavily, Mr Mundell, and it hurt. Canterbury is closer to Europe and has more in common than we do with many UK cities, and we have such close ties in terms of so much that underlines our local economy. And as well as our social, economic and sentimental ties in East Kent, the national urgency for closer official ties couldn't be more timely, as shifting global alliances and instability are highlighted every single day. We must get closer once again to our friends and allies in the EU. And this is, of course, a political decision. It's a matter of leadership, of making the case politically and based on facts. Our trade opportunities, international standing and very security depend on us showing political leadership. This is the basic requirement of political premiers.
Will the Honourable Member give way?
Certainly.
Thank you. I thank the Honourable Member for giving way. She talks about political leadership, and I understand that while we can all agree that Brexit has been an almost unmitigated disaster, the Labour Party manifesto said that we will not go back into the EU, and we won't do the customs union or the single market. That's a Labour Party manifesto that I stood on, that all of us over here stood on. You talk about leadership. Do you agree it's important for politicians to honour the manifesto they've stood on?
I thank the Honourable Member for intervening.
You're asking these views of.
I thank him for his intervention, but indeed there are plenty of things that the Labour government seem to be pushing through that were not on the manifesto. And the people now in charge were in fact campaigning with those of us that were still here against Brexit several years ago, so I'd like them to stick to that. So our trade opportunities, international standing and very security depend on us showing political leadership. This is the basic requirement of political premiers, taking decisions, not only tough decisions on the economy, but bold, swift, courageous decisions during shifting geopolitical circumstances. Our tourism, arts, farming, university and financial sectors need help. So it's time that this government took some of those bold decisions and acted on them. not only to reflect the will of those it represents, but also to protect and secure the best future for those generations who depend on us to deliver it. Thank you.